Welcome in, everybody. I might need to turn the lights up a little. We're back on the, let's see, do I have the regular camera? Probably not. Yes, no? Cool. All right, so today we'll do some Sesh development. Let's bring this up a little. Oh, yeah. Ah! How does that feel? What's up, Andres? All right, people are jumping in. Cool. So we'll see what attention this grabs today, but just some good old Sesh work. I think that we'll be making a lot more progress with version 2.0. So I'm copying things over from 1.0 and using proper dependency injection so that we can isolate this code and test it a lot better than it's being tested now. And I've even run up against a couple bugs this week. And so I'm recognizing that as we improve this, it will make it a lot better. So should be interesting. Let's go ahead and zoom that up. Sesh v2, Sesh main. Cool. So I'm pretty happy with this shell package. We have our shell command and our shell list command. And today, I'll probably work through, I guess, just the basics of Tmux. I should be able to connect all of this. Oh, that's not right. Shell. There we go. So at this point, it's just a matter of the pieces, putting all the pieces together, figuring out what's maybe the next best thing to do. And so, sweet. How's it been going? Do you like using it? Is it everything you need it to be? Let me get that just right. I think as I'm able to get this 2.0 out, I'm going to feel more confident in getting more features shipped, because what happens right now is some of the logic is not well tested. And so when I go to try to fix something, it's a little bit tricky making sure that I don't break anything that's currently happening. So that's sort of the challenge right now, is balancing those things. All right, so I'm thinking we have the list command. That's sort of step number one, is implement. We don't have to recreate a lot of the logic, thankfully. We're just kind of copying it over. Creating a new folder. I've been having issues. Okay, yeah. So my favorite method is maker new, cd new, right? I like doing sesh connect dot, and that will create a session. That's been my most common approach. I know that you can do sesh connect new, and new would be the directory, because it's a child directory of this place. And that also can work pretty well. So those are the two ways that I typically deal with that. So you can cd into it and then do this command. And I have s dot as an abbreviation in Fish. Anyway, so that's one thing that I like to do. We still have the sesh clone command, which clones to the place that you want. You can do command directory, and so it'll clone it to this place, and then you put in your remote, and it clones it, creates a session, connects to it. So that, I don't use that one too much, but it is It is really helpful when I'm creating a new project. Okay, so I think the main thing is that we have our exec wrap, our model, the CLI itself. I guess we'll have a session package like we did before. And we're going to list a session. And so when we list this session, it's going to pull from Tmux list session. And the thing, what's up, Ian? So the main thing that we need to do is we need to, so we're already using dependency injection here for shell. We parse it, we return it. So now I need to figure out, is this test? Test this session, basically. Nice. And so we will run. All right, so this guy does all the parsing, we sort it, and then on the list, we parse and sort and return. The list session has, does it have the proper dependency? Yes. So we're basically going to take the exec wrap and we're just going to pass a mocked shell. We're not doing a full rewrite, Ian. We're just introducing dependency injection to the project so that if I want to test, this is a good proof of concept right here. So I want to test listing functions. And so basically we have our, what is this going to be, our Tmux? And the new Tmux is going to pass a mock shell. I don't know if that's going to be valid. And the exec, so it's just a matter of organizing all of this. So exec wrap gives us, do we have our mock exec wrap? We do. So we have the mock exec wrap. Nope. So the mock exec wrap, mock exec wrap is that guy. And then this is mock exec wrap, mock shell, and we just say shell.new shell. And I think we only need to pass shell in as an argument, which I think is something, so we'll just get rid of that. I think that's valid. New shell. Mock shell. This is the fun part. It's like I need to be able to pass Hey Bryce, what's going on, man? Hey man, don't feel bad. It's a way to communicate. It's not an issue, pun intended. No issue at all. Happy to respond. You are probably like the 20th person to ask me that question. So after the Sesh video comes out, it's coming out. drum roll, 2 weeks from now, I am absolutely releasing the Sesh video. No matter what it takes, the Sesh video is coming out. And so look out for that. I have a hard deadline of like, I think the May 10th or something, I think is the day that I've committed to. I've got some accountability in my life. So I was like, hey, I'm going to make this video. It's going to happen. Yeah. So May 10th is the cutoff date for me. So it'll definitely be out by then or sooner. And then the video after that will be me talking about why I dropped Yabai. To be honest, that one probably isn't as complicated of a video. And so we'll see how that goes. Why is my shell mock shell? Oh, I need to create a mock shell. Okay, so we have our exec wrap, and then we have our mock exec wrap. And so if I remember right, the shell package, we could just say mock shell, which is using the mock. Mock shell. Is this right? We have our executable. All right, so then we're going to basically take these commands. And it's going to be called in that way, command args. And then we return let's see, we're going to do this. And let's use the new feature. So the new feature from Raycast, we want like a GoLang expert. Actually, I wonder if I can like duplicate this. Duplicate preset. Let's call the, no, not that one. The React one. This should be, I think this is worth some time here to do. So we want to call this GoLang expert. Low creativity, you are a GoLang developer that provides expert level insights and solutions. Your responses should be examples of code snippets where applicable, best practices, explanations. Use the latest stable version of GoLang. Use TypeScript and use, what is the library called? Testify, right. Oh no, did I lose my window? Well, that's fun. Let's go ahead and duplicate, copy. We'll just go back to here. So context is a really powerful thing. And Raycast AI, if we set up a little bit, I haven't done much code development this week. So when we set this up, it should give us more accurate looking, GoLang specific things if we can provide it. All right, so use testify for testing when applicable. Avoid adding code comments unless necessary. Provide real world examples or code system. All right, highlight any considerations such as potential performance impact with advised solutions. Yeah. So again, it's a pretty simple one, but what we can say is this React one, we want to duplicate. We want to call this a GoLang expert. We want to put all of that in there and we save it. And so now when we enter what we're doing, we just choose the GoLang expert. And now we can see that the GPT-4 Turbo has been selected, and the system instructions are included. And so now as I try to get stuff done, it's just going to work. Pretty cool. So I'm feeling fairly confident in that. I think it's just going to be fine as it was written. I'll just sort of put this behind me. Not that it is of a big impact to all of you, but it is helpful to me. All right, so let's close that. And we want to and so this is the paid version. Yeah, people are asking. So this is, you basically have to pay for the AI like feature, and it gives you like unlimited clipboard history and a few other things. And then if you want like the advanced models, you have to pay an additional fee. But it saves me so much time that it's more than justified for me anyway. Test command. Interesting. I want to test. So we create the mock. I mean, we're in the right direction here. So mock exec is already. So we've already done that. I don't really care about that step. What I do care about, why is it doing this? It's not even useful. All right. So I don't think GPT is going to get me where I need to go. We could always try a different model, but basically, new mock exec, test shell, passing mock exec, and then the mock command. So I don't want to have to do all of this. Can't I? Mock command, mock command. Yeah, this is all not useful. All right, so I want a mock shell. So I want this to be a mocked version. And so mock command, mock this command. This is how we do it. Let's close that. We just have to borrow this pattern here. So our mock exec passes mock. I guess I'll move this guy. And we'll do a little split action here. Let's see, what do I want? I want shell on one side and exec on another. All right, so from all of our work 2 weeks ago, Andres, I know you were here. Ian, I don't know how much you caught it, but we were trying to learn dependency injection, basically. And so we're just repeating the pattern, but this is our first time having something that had a dependency also need to be mocked so that it can be used using the testify library. So I haven't done this yet. This is our first entry point. And again, after we learn this, then it transfers really well to other packages as we continue. So for me, I think Tmux is a great entry point, and then we just repeat the process once we get it figured out. So that means shell. So again, this part is like the interface, like the high-level definition. And I don't think that exists yet on shell. Maybe it doesn't. And that's why we need to mock it. Okay. So some people say like real shell and mock shell. People do, I've seen that sort of a naming convention, but basically we need to define it here in a certain way. And then we need to be able to mock it out. Now, why do we have mock exec command? Okay, so exec command was this specific exec command like this, and then the other one is just the exec package, so os exec. So exec command was our way of creating an abstraction between the actual implementation so that in our mock, we return here exec command. So that was our way of, and it works, those tests are good. And the mocking is pretty straightforward. However, we don't have to do 2 layers here. We only need to do 1 layer. So we might as well say that shell exec os exec. So the way this is going to work is where we have like real shell, and then we have our shell interface, which returns our command definition. Strings, and then list commands, a list of strings, and then our real shell lets us create a new shell. A new shell creates real shell, and it returns shell. We're all on the right path here. Now what's it say? Yes, I know. We're not there yet. So this is real shell, real shell. This one's a little longer. Pointer to an interface. Do I need to change something about this? Real shell passes the wrapped exec, and this is not a pointer. Is that a pointer, Andres? Did I say that right? And then now where do we go? We go here. Real shell implements command. Real shell implements list command. Does all the things. And then mock shell. Yeah, so this looks right, but this part is complaining. So what is this saying? Cannot use real shell as shell values that return statements. Real shell does not implement shell. Wrong type for command. Okay. Command is something that returns a string and an error. It needs its arguments. So it should be shell. Would I do the same thing here? This returns a pointer to exec. You might have to clarify with me, Andres, how this part works. I don't know. The symbols are something that I'm not super familiar with, like the asterisks and the ampersands and stuff like that. At least in GoLang, I don't know what means what yet, which we can ask the language model if we want. Okay, so this is that. And that also goes here. And then the mock shell is the same, called with command and args. That's funny, this is called args. I think args is more valid because it can be more than one. All right. Args, args. Oh, I see. It doesn't like that naming. So we'll just leave that alone. Arg, arg. It's like the mock wants to take in arguments. I get it. So for now, we'll keep that simple. And we'll say that args is calling arg. Arg is args, args, args. Okay, cool. So the list command returns something else. What did we return? This one returns a string and the error. This one returns string, array of strings, and or errors. Is that right? This is the fun part, right? String. Oh, and then this is a error. Oh, can you tell I'm a TypeScript developer? Every now and then I end up doing something where I'm like, that's TypeScript. What am I doing? All right, let's put some tunes in my ears. I think that might help me. Sorry, you guys have to put on your own music. I don't have good, I don't have super good copyright-free music. How about a little Local Natives? You guys know who this is? This is a brand new album from a couple days ago. All right, so you're saying the asterisk is a pointer, right? And the ampersand references the address. Okay, that makes sense. So you're saying that I need to. So I know that this part is a pointer to the thing that you pass in, but this returns a new version of this. So I wanted to expect this to be a pointer, right? This wouldn't be a pointer. You could try to help clarify that part for me if you'd like, but because this looks right to me, because we're saying that this is pointing to the code that I've implemented here. So that's where I get a little bit confused. But this is looking right. We have our real shell, which has our exec wrap. And then we have our mock shell. And really, real shell, you never really see it when you implement the use of the package. To my knowledge, it's just, we just say, hey, I want a new shell. And we call like a constructor kind of pattern, or we say shell equals new shell. And then you pass in exec wrap and you use it. But in our test, we're going to say, hey, I want mock shell. And so mock shell, let's make sure we get this part right. So to my knowledge, like exec wrap, let's talk about shell, and then let's put Tmux here. So this is the shell, and then the test. Here we go. So in the test, is this what's going to complain? Yeah. Mock shell? No, this is us actually testing it. We're testing real shell with exec mock, the mock exec. Yeah, that should be right. Let's see. Are our tests still passing? No. We're getting undefined. Because I don't want to call mock shell here. I want to test real shell. So this is the part we just changed. So shell, real shell, new shell. I guess I need to make new shell, right? This is the fun part. So shell is new shell, and we pass mock exec. That's actually what I'd expect. All right. And then this one is the same. New shell, we passed mock exec as the dependency. So this is dependency injection, right? But this isn't going to be valid yet. Oh, not Sesh Z. We can build. Build failed. All right, why? Yeah, so Andres, I've seen that before, but at least for me during this V2 process, I kind of want to understand what making a mock looks like. And this project isn't big enough that it becomes a huge headache. I imagine like enterprise level development, it could get really, really hairy. But for me, I kind of want to understand this. It's not so crazy complicated to me. And testify is letting you say, hey, call the function, return the thing that gets called via the mock, and the mock gets passed as a dependency. And so like this is obvious and visual to me, and the more I do it, the more it'll make sense. So that's the reason that I, for now, chose to avoid the like auto-generated tooling. But in my research, I saw exactly what you're talking about. All right, so why? Oh, I need mock command to go here. No, exec wrap. I do need this to work again. Did I break something in shell? I don't think so. We know that it might be too permissive. Yeah, maybe. But the test worked before. It just says build fail. So we have our exec. Is that why I had to do this? So I don't actually want to mock. I don't want to mock shell. I want to test shell here. So I have to be careful not to bust what I was doing. And so this is the big piece that we manually say in this test, when mock command is ran, when combined output is triggered, return this thing. Well, I'm not getting a build error here. I guess I can go test. Oh, I see. There you go. List session. Could not import convert. So I don't want to do all of this work yet, but I need to. So we go back to main, convert. I guess we will take the convert package and we will put it in v2. How about that? There we go. All right. We can build. I guess we'll start over here with our, what do we have? Our shell test. So this is real shell. Build still fails. Dir is on path. Okay. Dir. It's so small. Here we go. Dir. I guess we'll get better at this. I was trying to do it piece by piece, but I think my parsing logic is got a lot going on. Cool. And then exec wrap doesn't like this. Right. Arg. That was the last one. Oh. Let's do twice. Nice. All right. So I think we're back. This should now pass. Hey, let's go. Very nice. I think if I do this, it's been done to cover. Look at that. Look at all the party. That's fun. All right. So we're back here. We basically just want to recreate this in the Tmux test because we're going to mock shell and we need to mock shell properly. And to do that, what is here? New Tmux. Tmux passes shell. Right. So then my shell needs a mock shell. Mock shell has all of these guys. That all looks good to me. And so now we just want to call mock shell when we generate new Tmux. And so in the same way that we wrote these tests, we're going to write the same test here. So that looks like shell, mock shell. And does this guy need, I don't think he needs to be, dependency doesn't need to be injected because we are mocking it. And so then we do real Tmux. That feels funny to me that we would have to do that. So here's just the function and then where's list? Okay, so list is here. Can I put this like at the beginning? Does order doesn't matter in Go, right? I can put something after. I can define something after it's called. Actually, it may not matter here. So we're listing sessions. List sessions lives there. So this is new Tmux, this is Tmux. Okay, so then we need to do what we did here. We have our type of Tmux, it's an interface, and we are saying that there's a list session that returns that. And then can I say real Tmux? it just feels so weird doing it this way. And we say that this returns Tmux. So Tmux returns new Tmux when we pass this. And then we, in our test, we have our mock shell. Can I just call this guy like that? So the test shell is mock shell. Cannot use mock shell. Shell is missing command. Oh. Got it. Has pointer received. Oh boy, what does that mean? Mock shell, mock shell. Am I missing the pointer? Oh, I see. All right. I think I see. So this needs to be that. I'm learning, Andres. Okay, so what we're saying is this method command has pointer received, so we need to create the pointer. So this is saying, hey, we're just referencing the thing that's already in the other package. Okay, it's starting to make sense to me. And so now we would say on what? On our mock shell, when we run tmux list, and we mock whatever we want to mock, we would be returning a list of tmux. So that just looks like this, tmux list, tmux ls, with all of the crazy flags that we have. So let's get those crazy flags, and let's actually make sure that our function is doing what we think. The fun part is convert this. Let's just see if I can ask it to run the code. Ha! It totally works. How amazing is that? Let's go ChatGPT 4 Turbo. So I just said, hey, what would this return if we were to run it? So that's the first piece of it. And then the actual function itself is a list sessions-f. So what we would be saying, we can move all this to list test. When we does this matter? I don't think this matters. I think all that matters is that I tmux list sessions-f, and then we do this, and we get this result. So really, all that matters, and this is the fun of testing, right, is that I'm like, hey, there's a specific scenario that I'm going to create, and I want you to do this for me, please. So we could just say on, I don't know, on mock anything, return so let's zoom, no. I'm still not very good at syntax yet, so it sort of slows me down. I'm excited to get a lot better at this. Right, so we do the brackets first, and then we do string, and then we do that, and then we like that. And that creates a comma. Yeah, that's what I want to return. So now the test is, can we do, I think we could do snapshots. That's what I think I did last time. So what we would say is tmux.list sessions. And so the sessions that's not, what is testify? Testify wants us to Sesh assert. Assert comes from testify? I think so. Right. Something like that. So air should be null, and then my expected list should be my sessions, and the expectation is what? Can I do? There we go. That should fail. Do we get a build failure? Interesting. Go test. Cannot use real value because I'm missing list sessions on real Tmux. Got it. So this guy needs real Tmux. See, I'm getting the hang of this. I get a sense of what these patterns are supposed to be. Is that enough to make it run? Yeah. So basically, I actually expect this to be model Tmux sessions is what's supposed to be here. So the real question is this going to dump on this command return? Oh, interesting. So the mock shell is going to need something more specific? Or do I have to say, when I call list command, return this? That's probably it. When I return on mock shell on list command, mock anything? List command, yes. What is the error now? Cool. So real Tmux should, all right, so will this actually, can I follow this logic and will it actually work? Tmux is real. It lists this, which means that the output of sessions, well, output, I guess, is the first one that we need to test. Let's debug. Okay. Oh no, we immediately hit some sort of fatal crash. Well, that's not good. Add a breakpoint there, add a breakpoint there. I'm guessing it's failing sooner. There we go. So my sessions on Tmux unexpected method call on the mock. All right, so my mock is still bad. Let's continue. Yeah. And continue. All right, so basically this mock isn't right. So mock shell on list command anything? Is that why it's not enough? That sucks. Do I have to be more specific? Or do I have to say all of the arguments? So this is the combined output. This is saying anytime I run command, anytime I run echo, and anything that's after that. Do I have to do that part? Is this valid? Okay, so that is invalid. And that's valid. Okay, so then let's say that that's args. So this is one of those things that like the list test wants Tmux list sessions. Cannot get, because there are one arguments. Panic cannot call get one because there are one arguments. All right, so let's check our mock shell. Command args, get. Did I not? Let's see. The question is, here's a breakdown of the components. List command method, it properly returns a slice. Do I have to say the error returned is null? Is that like a part of it that I have to do? Probably. That's probably what it is. I don't need that. Nice. Well, I think, Andres, that I just didn't actually return it. So I need to return list test. I need to return this and nil. All right, now we're on the right track. Actual, yes. So here's what it was, if anyone missed what I just did. List command returns an array of strings and returns nil for the error. And so it was like, hey, I don't have that. And so that's why I was crapping out. So you have to be valid in your return. The return is on list command, and list command is our shell package, right? It's the one we've created. And so that should be right. Everything now is good, but the actual body of the output is, let's see, something like expect. I don't know if this is gonna be useful. See, I need to like run it and pull out the values because there's just too many, or I need to simplify the list command in general. But we're on the right path here. So all of these things get parsed by the current logic. So I read, okay, what is everything that there is to be seen right now from Tmux, and I parse all those values into this structure, right? So there's all these values that we pull. We don't use all of them yet, so there's a little bit of overkill here. So I have to figure out, if I run, can I use testify to get? I love snapshot testing in this kind of scenarios because I start with what the code currently is doing because I've already developed this. You guys have been here. Andres, I know you were here when I wrote this code. So we know the code does, for the most part, what we want. However, I have to get it. I have to pull it out and grab it and use it. So it's one of those things that, like, can I print it? Format like print line sessions. Is that like going to be useful to me? So this guy and these bytes, I want what's actually coming out of them. I know they don't equal. So I have these two values. Does anyone know the best way to, like, how do I rip sessions values explicitly, copy that into my test, and format that structure here? Otherwise, I have to do all this myself, which is going to be not fun. I guess I could also call it and, like, dump it on the CLI side, but we're not there yet. I don't have all that put together yet. But this is the path we're going to take. I mean, this is exactly what I'd expect. Input, output. So I don't know if it's going to be able to give me any defined expected output you wish to print below. I mean, I guess I could print it in some Yep, that part's fine. Print F, easily copied. So they say. So then using this format might be easier to read. It might not. See how it returns this? Maybe it's because my tests are bad. Pointers. Yeah, of course they're pointers. I don't want to have to do all that. Do I have to do all that? This feels silly. This feels like an unnecessary amount of steps. I know I'm going to have to do this a lot. Not a crazy amount, but like the rest of this project. I want to execute code I already have, dump out the output, use that dumped out output to view something like this. Print deferred pointers. Interesting. So I'm still learning how this print works. So if you call it like this, it will dump out the values. Oh shit, it did. That's cool. So you're saying print the pointed thing. That's cool. I never realized that I could do that. All right, so turn this into a model Tmux session that can be a variable. Let's see how well we can parse this. Yeah, no, I know what it is. I just want you to take the values that I had textually and print them out for me, please. Must parse, must parse. Oh, funny. That's funny. There's two of them, right? What happens if I just paste them in? It's gonna be screwy, right? Just turn this into an object. A valid GoLang object. We're so close. Just don't do it with code. Just don't. Just do it literally. Come on. These language models are great until they're not. So like, just give me the values. So created at. Can I do this? I guess this one doesn't need to be like that, right? And then like that. I don't want to do this manually. Even being quick with like Vim, it's still a pain. Oh, and this isn't even right. Attach list, attach group list. I'm getting pretty good with what is this one new called? Flash in Vim. Have you guys used this yet? So if I hit S and then E and then Y, so if you start with the S command instead of the F command, it like helps you do completion to get to the end result. So is that enough? Let's just start with this. We've got one. Are we missing? Used unkeyed fields? Does that mean there was something here that wasn't supposed to be? Weird. Let's just do a quick macros, search for comma. Format. Oh, that makes sense. Expected type. This is crazy. I can just do this once, I guess. What is it expecting? String. What? String. String. I think these are ints. So that would be that. Alerts is ints. No alerts. Can I just say that this is time? Is that going to harass me about this? Can I do something like that? No. Feels silly to have to like convert these things again. You guys are quiet. Anyone have any questions about anything? Or want to talk about something? I know I'm just kind of coding away. I think we're getting pretty close to this test being done. See, I don't want to have to create the parsed time things and then add them as pointers to the other thing. So can I just time parse? Time parse? Is that enough? No. Time. Shoot. So I've got strings and it's not enough. So like in this case, we're just going to kind of delete that. It won't build because even though we got this value out, we need it represented as the correct. Let's see if like that's enough. The language model's like, what are you talking about? So there's the format. Dude, it's so much. It's so much. Why do I got to do all this? Yeah, I literally could just do this. So that's the idea. Do I have to put this like above? Time parse, time parse, time parse, created. Last attached. Activity, those are valid. Is this an and? Yes. My touch typing, there we go. Nice. So the moment of truth, if I run this test, will it pass? I'm gonna guess that there's a piece of this that is close but no cigar. Expected sessions, actual sessions, yes. So my expected session, did I write this wrong? Am I out of touch with how I define arrays? Oh. Okay. I see. So my attached list is going to be an empty string. My group list is an empty string. Are all of these empty strings? Hey, let's go. We did it. That's cool. I like it. All right, so that's the idea. So we're just kind of rinse and repeat all this. It's not super sexy at this stage. Like, I get it. Like, it's just like, all right, we're just proving that this can be done. But look at this. All of these values get parsed into this model, right? And so again, it's very straightforward. List Tmux sessions. The next step would be like testing that we can sort, right? And so when we have, so again, we don't have to, we could test all of this. So if I wanted some sort of, the parser is tested. The sort by last attached probably would be good to test. And so the thing to call out here is that it's in a certain order and that the one that is more recent is listed on top, no matter what order it comes through. So I can imagine already that this could be tested. Why don't we just test it? Because we're here. So we list it. Part of me wants this part to be reusable. Andres, when you do testing, if you had this like mock data here, would you create some sort of simple test function that like can be reused internally here? Or would you just duplicate everything? I'm curious. Now let's see. I do need to make sure that I understand the format of all of this. So we have, these times are slightly different. Rule of 3, say more, Cody. If I do something 3 times, I have to then abstract it. Is that what you're talking about? So I've only done it twice, so I don't have to duplicate. All right, we're going to go with what Cody says. Thank you for the tip. Let's just do that. So sort by local variable with expected data that is meant to be used. Yeah. Well, that's what I did. That's what expected sessions is. But there'll be a different set of expected sessions. I could just test that function, couldn't I? And that function is, let's close all this. So the test is to list sort by. So if I was to just do a simple test, I don't have to do all of this. The power of testing. All right, so really all that we care about is that there's this guy, sessions, can I put 2 in the same place? Old session, not old, what is it? We have a last attached and we have one that's not last attached. What's the opposite? First attached? First attached? Something like that? Okay. Can I do that? So we've got first attached, and then we've got last attached. And last attached will take these values. Can I not recreate these? All right, let's do this the right way. I do like refactoring this kind of stuff. It's pretty straightforward. So we should be able to say created first attached, sure. Last attached. Can I do this in line? Oh no, because parsing potentially throws an error. Oh, fine, if you say so. All right, I'm just gonna be silly here and just kind of get it done. So now, why didn't this all work? First attached. So we got first attached, and then we got basically all of this. We're going to do that, last attached, and this is last attached, declared but not used, because we have our sessions that are sorted sessions. We do that. And then we assert. Is there any errors being thrown on this? I don't think so. So our expected and our actual. Expected sorted sessions and our actual sorted sessions. So if I get this right, we could have the last attached be first and our first attached be like that. This should fail. Oh no, this one passed. All right, let's verify. So now if I do first attached and then nope. I want to make sure that when they're in the wrong order, they get put into the right order. So we're going to do both assertions. So if last should be first and first should be last. I feel like I've heard that somewhere. And then if we sort first and last, then we get last and first. And then if we sort last and first, then we still expect actual assorted sessions out of order, something like that. And then actual sorted session in order. I think this is going to pass. Cool. So whether we put them out of order or in order, we still end up with the right. So that's the test, right? If anyone were to break this functionality or we didn't have the last attached value, like if I dropped this from the test, not from the test, if the logic was somehow changed or inverted or something, I don't know, like let's invert it. Let's make sure that we're sane. This should fail, shouldn't it? If I swap them, I would think that would fail if I swap them. So I want to do a sanity check and make sure I didn't just write code that just does whatever it wants to do. Oh, they're the same. All right. They're the same time. So we could say that one was last attached before the other. So if this one was last attached, it would be closer in time, right? So the one that was first attached, the first attached time needs to be sooner. So we'll do like 30. This should fail because they're in the wrong order. And then if I go back to my tests or my code and I swap these back, this should pass because they're the same order. Cool. So there we go, code coverage, right? We can list. We know that when we list something, it gets parsed correctly. Parsing works. I could, is it worth just running a test, internal test, where the parsing test? So this is my raw list. The raw list gives me the expected output. So I sort of want to change that test. Part of me thinks that we could do internal tests, we can do external tests. It doesn't really matter. What I mean by that is like this is a public function, right? So list sessions is public, but really parsing is what I want. and what matters. So this is just personal preference at this point, right? I can parse it. And so mocking it is less important. Maybe I keep the test, but I run a different test that's for parsing. And you'll see that this is just simpler. You don't have to mock. You don't have to generate that. Basically, we're just going to make this the argument. Raw sessions doesn't need to return nil. We're just going to parse the raw list. Raw sessions. Come on, Copilot. That was no use. Does this parse error? It does. Okay. So now what we should see is the expected sessions match as well. Cool. So Andres, what's at a file level? Create local variable. I don't know if let me see. I'm going to go backwards. If you repeat yourself 3 times, yeah. Create a local variable. How long ago did you say that? Oh, I see. It's been a few minutes. I see. All right, I'm catching up. So that's good. We have a test for all of our functions. I can see that like attached list, group list, as I perhaps work out what it means to have that functionality. I'm actually learning more about Tmux by building this project. Like groups, I don't know if anyone's used groups before. It's an interesting idea. The one that's attached, we can test if there's an option later on in the code that says, hey, list all the Tmux sessions, but don't show me the one that's attached. People really like that feature. And so for me, all it's going to take now is, okay, this is attached. And I think you just put 1 here. And then we test that that session doesn't show up in the list, right? And so this is really great, especially the path and the name. These are going to be 2 that I will be doing a lot of things with. A lot of this gets converted into a session interface. So this is sort of, we can do lots of things that we want within Tmux. And then when we move over to the session package like converts this into a standardized format that Zoxide and Tmux and our configs all share. It's like a shared interface. And so that makes it even simpler when we go about, especially since some of these things, again, aren't being used. So yeah, this is working. I'm really pleased. Let's see if it builds. Let's do our coverage testing. So my Tmux should have more coverage. 50% coverage, interesting. It would be nice if we can visualize code coverage. I guess you would just have to output the coverage report in whatever format is needed to view it, to render it. So I might think about that. I don't think code coverage is the point here. I think for me, the point is I really want certain things to work. Like it's really important to me that certain things work. And so I want tests that show me that it worked. So we are going to feature add working Tmux list with tests. Cool. That is definitely a win. I'm excited to make progress in that area. So let's see. What is worth doing next? We could interface with Sesh, the CLI, and get list-t working, right? It won't work now because it's not implemented. So maybe we just do that as a quick win. So the CLI has a list command, and our list command has all of our flags that we're used to. the question now is, what logic do we want to put in the CLI? For those that have been following me for a while, I've been talking about potentially making a TUI, like a terminal UI, for Sesh, where like lazy get style, you pull something up and it gives you a lot more than just a list, right? Because the list is, really only gets you to what you want in a very contrived way. So far, the logic's pretty contrived. It's like you give it a string and then you take the string, and on both ends, you have to make sense of what it is. So there's not a lot of data that goes with FCF command, right? FCF's pretty simple. And so it creates a pretty complicated system on the logic side, which once it works, it's great. Like once all of you use Sesh every day, as long as there's no bugs, like it's very, very simple how it works. However, it is not simple in how I go about deciding what needs to be shown to the user. And so there's still a lot to think about regarding like improving the logic. I think the JSON thing is a huge step in the right direction. And that's why I think that the raycast extension is so cool, is because like you can do cool things with it, right? You can have like the number of windows shown, and when you go down here, you can see the score that Zoxide gives each record. And so I just really like this pattern versus FCF's pattern. So maybe we'll introduce our own FCF like tooling, or I'm not quite sure yet. I don't know how it's going to translate, but I would like to make the logic a little bit more straightforward. It's not very straightforward right now. And I'm sort of stalling because I'm thinking about how I want to do this. So I think what makes sense is that we have our session list package, and we're going to have our func that says list, and list will take all of those arguments. And so these become a strut. List options is a strut. And so the JSON stuff could be CLI focused. The config is definitely config. It's a bool. Tmux is a bool. Zoxide is a bool. Hide attach is a bool. Icons. Yeah, I think icons should be done outside of that. And JSON? All right, fine. So these are our options. We're basically just translating them to this. So it'll be options, and it should return. This will always return a list of models dot not Tmux session. Is there only one? Okay, so we're going to call this session. So I originally thought, hey, it may make sense to put models in its own place. So I have this model package. So let's go to main. Oh boy. Main. I'm so dependent on Sesh that when I end up overwriting it, see, there we go. We still have main. All right. So the session package has this. So these are my types for that generic session that I just talked about a few minutes ago. So the Sesh session has source, name, path, score, attached windows. This is like our, it might be config, it might be Zoxide, it might be Tmux. And part of me actually thought that all of them should have like a little bit more inheritance here. All of them should have base values, and then the Tmux one has these values, and the Zoxide ones has those values, and like specifically change the objects. How do you recommend I use inheritance to make a base type that only has, what do we only have? We have source name path, source name and path, and the other fields are different based on the source. So it'll be like windows and attached are associated with Tmux, and the score is something we only show base session. Yeah, the embedding base type. Yeah, this is cool. I do like this pattern. I think it'll work fine. So we have our base session, and then we have our Tmux Sesh session. I feel like these identifiers are useful. And that's, it actually knew. I mean, that's how good these language models can have gotten over recently. Windows and attach, go here. Score goes here. Name source path is here. Sesh source, base Sesh session, Tmux Sesh session, Zoxide Sesh session. Feels weird, but it's exactly what I need it to be. There's no, you guys want some more? You guys want some more text? Tell me if you want more text. I actually like, I have Zen mode, gives me nice little size. How does that feel? Nice and fresh, distraction free. So if it could return more than one thing, how would I say something returns a Tmux, array of Tmux session and Zoxide session mixed together? And something that returns both. This is more than I need. Get all sessions. So get all sessions would do both, because session is session details. Session should return that. Session details returns. Oh, no. I'm going to call Tmux list and Zoxide list, and I want a single session.list function that will return a mix of both in one function. And this is way small. You guys can't see anything now. Interesting. So they're saying that this can return that, but they never give me that. Wait a minute. So I definitely need the dependency injection here. However we decide to do it, that's definitely the way that it's going to go. So our session service is going to have Tmux as a dependency. And then we do this, and then we have, wait, where does session come from? I mean, we're on the right path. I think we're really close. I just need to understand. It's an interface. Oh, so it is your interface. And then on this step, when you do list will do that. I'm with them there, and then we append them. Yeah, I mean, basically that's what we're doing in the other project. But why do I have to do this first part? Not have to, but why is it explaining that part? If you want to combine into a single list, returning a mix, you'd rely on the use of interfaces to ensure both can be handled similarly by a single function. So get details. List. So both of these have a get details. Wrapped up as a session. Oh, so your list sessions Streamboo. Okay, thanks, Streamboo. Get out of here. So what is this? The lists are called there, and then they're called there. My problem now is who's deciding what this is? Oh, I see. So you end up calling session.getDetails. And when you call session.getDetails, I don't care for that. I don't want to do that. Yeah, not a fan of that. So I get what they're saying. It could be done that way. Session. All right, so we got our base session. and oxide sesh together in a single function. And what I write the return type. Is it like Tmux sesh session oxide sesh session? So I definitely don't want to get details every time. Both, you have to do the interface method? Really? And then when you list through, yep. So you'd have our sessions, you'd list and append and weird. So sesh session, you still have to do it that way. Interesting. So is that the best pattern? I mean, I get good old object-oriented programming means you need a shared interface where both return the same thing. But see how this says they all return a string? I kind of don't care. I'm like, I don't really care. I guess what I would probably stick to is that I just keep returning what I was doing in the past. Maybe I don't do the base with inheritance. Maybe I just have what we originally talked about. So a session has these values. It's less work. It's a lot less work, and the whole interface thing, I guess, could work. Display name. We can rearrange these. Oh, but I hate that it gets rid of the comments. But they want source last. Name, path, attached, Windows score. All right, they want this source last. All right, because I guess it's no, it's still a string. Source name, path, attached Windows score. Fine. So we'll stick to this, but that means every time we list something, like if I list a Zoxide result, I give it a score. I also give it a window of 0 and an attached of 0. So it always feels a little bit funny, but this is less complicated. So we can just say the sesh CLI, we're going to list. And this is the fun part. So if we're doing session list, then our package session has a type called session. And it's our list. And our list takes in the options. And we return session table. Is that valid? Model session. Oops, I did that wrong. So that's shell. Weird. I guess Tmux list. How did I phrase this? Model thing. All right. So then my session. Oh, interface. Thank you, sir. Model. It should. Why doesn't it find model? Oh, I don't think it was typed right. All right. So then we're doing our list. And then list. Oh, this is wrong. All right. So we're not quite there yet. The Tmux Go, you have to have the real one, and then you have to have the thing that you bring in, and then you have to have the definition. All right, so I'm learning. I'm getting good. I'm getting not good, but adequate, I guess. So the type is real session package, and that takes in Tmux. And that takes in Tmux as a import. And then we say new session. That's probably misleading. We have a session package. And this thing takes in Tmux. Is that all valid yet? What did I miss? I'm close. The new one takes in that, takes in that, takes in that, and then session cannot use real session. Why not? It's not implemented. List is not implemented. So list takes in two values, right? This is the part that always messes with my brain. What is this? This is a list. It takes in that. Return Tmux. Okay, so this is Tmux and options. And this is just going to list sessions and convert them. So Tmux sessions. Just return error, right? If error is not nil, then we're going to return it. Otherwise, we're going to loop through the sessions, range, Tmux sessions. And we're going to return, no, we're going to convert all this. All right, so we'll do this. We've already done it before in session list. We've done this with Tmux. We have our list. We do need to forward that. And then we return something like that. we might as well we got something similar. The sessions come from model.sesh session. And then for each of those, we're going to return a model.sesh session with all these values. And these need to be like this. Can I use that? Am I in the wrong place? No, this is a Sesh session. So this is func Tmux sessions. So that's that. All right. So this gets interesting. Return that. So now I could, if I wanted to, I could make a simple unit test to say, hey, if I get this Tmux session, do I get out a Sesh session? And then we repeat all of this with the options. And with the options, let's see, that's list. We have T. This is always the part that's like a little bit confusing to me. So we have, what do we have? Tmux. This thing. Oh, right. I forgot. This is how it works. So when we define this session, oh, let's go back. Session list, this function has Tmux. Real Tmux? Can I do that? I don't know. Is that the argument? Not real Tmux. What did we call this? So making sure I get all this right. Tmux. It's real Tmux there. Real Tmux there. But shell. Got it. So it becomes session. We have our list options on the function. We have Tmux here. Real session goes here, and it becomes s.tmux is the thing we pass in. Cool. Dependency injection. How about that? And so this should go build. Go build Sesh. Cool. And then if we, let's get rid of the, let's go back to this. All right. So we can see our UI. The CLI has a list command. And the most basic thing is session takes Tmux, So that's new Tmux. And then session takes that. And then we return, nope, we get our sessions from listing, our options, and our list options. Do they translate? Let's figure out how they translate. So from what I remember, it's in the commands, commands list, and these values get converted into sources from the context. So it looks something like this. Let's copy that to the clipboard. All right, so argument mismatch. Okay, error. Is this going to be missing something? Oh, I need to not call it that. Can I call it that? Yeah. Unknown field. Why are the list options? Oh, they're all lowercase. Oh, I know why. No. Hide attached. Config, hide attached icons, JSON, Tmux, icons, JSON. Are we doing it here? Sure. JSON. And so we'll format print line. This is super rudimentary for now, but we will do a better job here soon. We have to like turn this into a string. What's up, Agus? Agus is here, everybody. We're just chilling. I think I'm almost done for the day. It's been a couple hours. That's usually how long we spend on these. All right, so unknown field config instruct literal type. Did I do this wrong? So this is sources, which is a strut. Oh, they do have to be capitalized because they're public. You know what though? I could actually do this. Doesn't this work? Hey, nice. A little visual block mode. All right, that's why. Let's do a little visual block mode again. Yeah, they have to be capitalized. Declare to not used. If error is not nil, then we return a format print error F. So range, loop through, and print name. This is also fun. So basically I need to list. We're going to recreate this. Names. This is just a string from sessions, and then for how do you end a for? It's like that, right? And then return, it's just a print. So I don't need to loop through this again. Something like that. I don't need to make a list. I just need to loop through them. Is that enough? Missing a return. We'll return no. Not enough arguments. What does Tmux need? Shell. Shell, new shell, shell. Good old dependency injection. So this is the live thing. This is what we want. We know real shell comes out of this. And then from here, we know real Tmux comes out of this, passed with real shell. And then we know that new session comes out of this is Tmux, goes in as a dependency. So this becomes the pattern. Shell, Tmux, sesh, list. I don't love, this is where I get a little bit of trouble. I don't know, Andres, if you know, like, if there's a best practice here, like I called the package shell, and so I'm going to call this sh. I think this one's a little bit misleading. Maybe I'm doing this wrong. I think I might be able to get away with this. Yeah, see how it thinks that it is itself? So like we could do like Tmux. But I get a little bit lost, and I'm not always sure the best pattern for like, this is the package name, and then I'm going to create a abbreviated version of something that's already pretty small. So let me know if like this feels weird, or if you have any suggestions on how it could be named. But shell needs to take exec wrap. Exec needs to be exec wrap. Exec wrap dot exec, no, new exec. And so this is the dependency injection that I'd expect to see. So I'm fine with this sort of pattern of, okay, these things get added to each CLI command, or they get added to each, if I make like bubble tea UIs and stuff, then it'll go in that way as well. So again, all the logic ends up living here under Sesh. Let's just see, go build. We have an error. Session go. Yeah, so that's just, it's just a side effect of the language, or the patterns that people create around the language. Yeah. All right, well, it is what it is. But again, like these are not really used much, and I get why you end up with this thing here where it's like, hey, this is just s.list. So I don't do this a lot in JavaScript. I don't really create like super small things, except maybe aliases. But I don't know. It's just a weird thing. But again, this is, I don't know. This is like, we're here 50 to 73, 52 to 73. So not even 20 lines, just shy of 20 lines. gives us all of our dependency injection, all of our custom options, potential error handling, and printing of all the sessions. All of that work is in 20 lines here, which is what I was trying to go for, and I'm really glad to see it. It also makes it really clear that like we are using the exec wrap, we are using shell, we are using Tmux, and we're using the session package on the CLI binary, right? On the command line that gets generated, the command line interface that gets generated from our build step. So I realized that we're not there yet. There was something that went wrong under session. Cannot use real session because the list got implemented wrong. Okay. We build and we list our sessions. So that is a win for me. That is what I wanted to see today in building this. It worked. And the dependency injection is starting to click. I understand what it's going for. And I immediately see the benefit in testing, right? We've already tested something that wasn't tested in version 1. And it was fairly trivial once we got it working. And yes, I do expect the majority of the dependencies to be leaning in on the Sesh CLI package, because that's the sort of final implementation layer. And as I am working through all of this, I'm able to make sense of how we go about mocking things so that we can test specific scenarios, edge cases. The list command is especially going to be useful because we're going to say, I don't care about some of the really basic stuff like if I pass the T flag, does it return Tmux sessions? I can test that. It's going to be fairly trivial to do those tests. But what I care about right now is like listing Tmux sessions and then listing config sessions and then listing Zoxide sessions in that order. And if we decide in the future to add some sort of config layer option where you can change the order, or you can mix config with Zoxide, which is an idea I had already, that becomes something that needs to be tested because I don't want to break default functionality, and I want to introduce new functionality that that I know works consistently. And I don't want to go back and have to fix regressions, which I've been doing a little bit of already. I don't want to fix regressions because I just didn't have the proper test coverage. So this will make this all a lot more straightforward. Although the majority of the code won't be that different. Although there are some quality of life stuff that I will slowly start doing, like the options thing here. I think originally in main, oh, the connect command isn't implemented yet. That's funny. Let's go build. So let's look at list. So list does session lists, and then icon logic, and then JSON logic. All of this stuff is all right now in the year-fave CLI implementation. And I basically will most likely strip all this out. And so anytime you do session.list, right? Anytime you use the session package to list, all related logic to list any session anywhere ever in the project, I'm going to consolidate all that logic. So we're going to repeat that process of sort of consolidating logic and putting it in a better area of like responsibility as I do this version 2.0 refactor. And again, I don't think the CLI will ever really get a test. I don't think so, because at the end of the day, it'll just be the final wrapper that sort of brings it all together, so to speak. And so, yeah, so that's the plan. It should be fun. to gain some momentum. We're on our way. So let's go ahead and say feature list Tmux sessions from CLI. So this was really fun. I'm going to call it a day. That was a successful stream for me, getting those things working, testing private functions, mocking the shell package was the first step in making all of this way easier. And so we've already done that today with the Tmux mock. We were able to say that when we run Tmux list sessions, it will return these strings, right? And so that was the path forward in making this a lot simpler. And so that is a commit, huh? This was fun. Thanks for coming around, guys. I will see you next week. As you know, for those of you that aren't around much here or you're new, thanks for coming. If you go to my website, you'll see a Discord button. And on that, we have a Discord server that a lot of us talk about all of these things. And we like Tmux and NeoVim and AI. And what else do we talk about? We talk about programming. We talk about Mac OS a little bit, Raycast, things like that. Most of us are programmers or programmer adjacent. I always appreciate, Andres, all your feedback on Go, and seeing some friends here today was fun. Cody, thanks for hanging out. And yeah, so Sesh video is coming. I'm working on it the next couple of weeks. And so that will be out. You guys can see my workflow. You can get a sense of how I'm leveraging this project to be more productive. I'll have some tips and tricks along the way. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.